All right, in this one, we're just going to talk about the opening and kind of strategies to get through any percent runs. Now, any percent runs do have the most RNG out of any other run. However, it is the easiest run to do because when you start a new fresh game file, the AI is the easiest it will ever be. On New Game Plus, even though you may have the difficulty as low as it can be, it will be harder than if you had a fresh new file. So anytime you start a new game, you do have to map your buttons the way you want it to. So going down to the game options, for running any percent, it's really best if you just do very easy. So standard, like opening a fresh new game file, it'd be easy and weak. You really just want to drop it down to very easy and very weak. It'll be the fastest, it'll be the easiest for the game, and that's what I run it on. Now for your controller, you can keep the normal setup if you would like. I have found it easier that when you set up your guard to L1, it's easier to do your cancels that way. So if you were to do 4 kicks into a guard normally, you know, you have 4 of these, but while you hold this, you'd have to push X, which is very difficult to do with one hand. So by setting up your controller with guard being on L1, if you do 4 and then hit guard, like as you looking at right now, it's so much easier to guard that way. So I like to set L1 with guard. The next one would be L2. I like putting L2 with your key blast. I really don't use it too often, but sometimes it is easier just using both hands. Like instead of switching, if you feel more comfortable, you can switch it with L2. That one's really not a big deal. However, being on guard on L1, I do highly recommend doing that. You'll see most high-level runners doing it, and honestly, it's just easier to practice guard canceling if you have guard on L1. Now, for R1, you have 2 options. Personally, you can either use PKG, which would be a transformation, or you can just use PK. So I prefer to have PKG, so I'm going to ensure that I have a transformation other than a charged move, as PK would have. For R2, I always use PKGE because every time I end the fight, I don't know, it's always just muscle memory for me to use a taunt at the end of the battle just for a little flair, a little swag, just a little fun thing to do during your runs. I don't know, I like it that way. But you could set it any way you want. This would be the pretty standard button mapping you would want to use for these runs. So of course, timing starts as soon as you press Dragon World for any percent because you are starting at the new opening screen. So as soon as you press X on it, start the match. Now every time you press Dragon World, you see like the ship flies away. Make sure you mash X when that happens because it will fade out faster, so you don't have to waste any time. Now this screen, you just push start and you'll skip it. And the opening of this scene, you want to be pushing start. Every time there's text, you'll want to push start all the way through. It'll skip it the fastest. However, when the blue screen comes up with stage 1 and getting the Dragon Balls, like this kind of text, doing start doesn't do anything, as you can see. I'm pushing start, won't do anything. You have to push X there. So make sure if you're spamming start, you're going to push X after. So, World 1 and pretty much every single stage after this, we're going to want to use Gohan. Gohan has the best guard cancels right along Goku. They're pretty much exactly the same. Really nothing's different. They're pretty much the same exact character. So doing the fastest moves with this, we really want Goku to just wait. And we're going to use Gohan to dig. He's going to get a Peach, get an extra turn, and we're going to go ahead and move towards this sword. Sword's going to give us a 10% boost on top of all the other boosts we're going to get in the run. Anytime you see a character move, you're just going to want to push X. It's just going to make their movement so much faster. They'll instantly go to the next square instead of having to wait for them hop all the way through. So this whole stage, we're only going to have Goku wait. And we're going to have Gohan race towards the Dragon Ball. Picking up that Peach gave us the extra turn, so we're going to get there so much faster. And now we're going to get to our first fight with the Saibamen. Now, Cybermen are tricky. In this game, the hitboxes are actually specific to the character you're using. Cybermen are very small, So you have to make sure you don't whiff. So the key to starting this battle is to start with a forward PK, because as you noticed, that kick misses. It misses the top of the Cybermen every time. It will not hit. However, if we do forward PK, it hits right there. So you want to do a forward PK, jump up. Because he is stunned, the first kick will miss, but the second one will hit. So let's just put it all together. The 4 key PKs, and then you punch through. The reason why I use those 4 is because that whole combo string will drain a whole bar of health without having to use a Kamehameha. Anytime you have to use a Kamehameha, you are wasting about 3 seconds for animation time. So if you don't have to use it, you really don't want to. Now, as you notice, beating the Cybermen drops a skill. There are 2 skills we want in World 1. If you're a beginner, there's only 1 skill you want. So having to reset a million times, you really won't have to do if you're just looking for the 1 skill. If you're an advanced player, unfortunately, you do have to really wait for 2 skills to get the fastest route. Now, you could move on if you're not too worried about getting a faster time. You can easily move on, not having the skills. However, I do really recommend waiting for the 1 skill, regardless of how fast you're going. Which the skill we want is viral heart disease. The second skill we want is rage of some sort of form, whether it's rage 1, rage 2, or rage 3. If you're really tired of resetting, you can get serious 1, 2, or 3, because with viral heart disease, your health's gonna drain, so serious will kick in if you get to those lower levels. So as you can see, we didn't get viral heart disease on the first one. But we're still gonna do the same thing. We're gonna have Gohan ride the bottom of the map all the way to the Dragon Ball until it gets over. So if you don't get viral heart disease on the first one, you can, however, get it on the second one. So I'll go ahead and show you these combos one more time, just to look at the Cybermen. It's always 4 kicks into forward PK into the forward KP. See, that first kick misses. It's really dangerous to do it that way. Give me a break. Little taunt for some swag, I always love doing. So forward PK. Unfortunately, he fell. So forward PK into KKK. Bam. And then punch him. Really simple. Honestly, the Cybermen are practically the hardest battle of the run. They're always just awful to deal with, but, you know, you can get it. So see, I didn't get viral heart disease or rage. Now, if you have never played this game, if you've never speedran the game, I wouldn't even bother with resetting. As you can see at this pace, it's 6 minutes lost. If you really don't want to sit through a whole 6 minutes again waiting for the capsules, I honestly wouldn't do it. I would just continue through the game, keep learning your routes, keep learning your battles, practicing your guard canceling, starting off with an initial time, and then from there you can keep chipping away at it and getting lower and lower and lower. Now, you always want viral heart disease to drop on the Cybermen, because the capsule here at the very last stage is the one that you're going to wait for either rage or wait for serious. So now that we're at the last turn of this stage, we actually don't have Goku wait. Pushing X and circle and doing the wait animation actually loses time. So when you start on Goku, you're just going to press over to Gohan, click on him, and you can finish the stage. So picking up this capsule, we're really waiting for 2 skills, either rage or serious. If you've already picked up viral heart disease and you're new to the game, I would just move on. I wouldn't even worry about the skill. If you do get rage, or if you do get serious, if you're on a lucky run and have some good RNG, then we're going to want it and we're going to want to equip it. So for this one, it was Saiyan Spirit. If I already had viral heart disease and I'm new at this, I'm just going to keep moving on. And then, so now you're going to click and get to the Dragon Ball. So it's pretty standard to click your split at the end of the world. So as soon as the Dragon Ball disappears, boom, that's when you click your split. And just remember, anytime anyone's talking, you just push start all the way through. So that's really the whole tutorial for stage 1. The start of the game really is crucial to how your entire run is going to be set up. So it is pretty important that you get the right skills on stage 1 and you have a good exit time, because that viral heart disease and rage or serious will really save your run. Viral heart disease in itself will cut the run by minutes by the constant health draining. So you really want to make sure you get that. But that's really all that World 1 is. Just to recap, I mean, have Gohan dig, grab that Peach, have Goku wait the entire time until the last turn, and just have Gohan reach the Dragon Ball. So that's really it for stage 1. If you are running New Game Plus, then you will go down to Kid Trunks. We will use him for the first world. With the skills we have with him, we'll actually kill the Cybermen in one string. We actually don't have to cancel at all. But of course, the same thing is exactly as follows. Goku's gonna wait, Trunks is gonna pick up the Peach to get an extra move, and then just move towards the end. Because we are running New Game Plus and you already have all your capsules unlocked, we don't have to worry about any drops. It's just a speedy finish to the end. Now, the reason why we use Kid Trunks, aside from him being the same size, is, as you noticed, when we met with Goku, we didn't actually waste any time powering up. When you use Gohan there, he actually gets a defense boost. So with New Game Plus, it's so much faster to use Kid Trunks this way. So with Kid Trunks, to ensure that you're going to kill in one string, we do forward K, punch, punch, punch into a Buster Cannon, and it will kill first try. Does enough damage that'll just ruin him. And that's all you're going to use Kid Trunks for. We actually will not use him at any other point in the run. We will spawn him in, but we will not actually fight with him. This is the only fighting that Kid Trunks will have through the entire run. And it's only for Cybermen. Once you get to the Cybermen, Kid Trunks is only going to be there as a placeholder. And that's really it for stage 1, both Any% and New Game Plus. It runs exactly the same.